Hello and welcome back to What's Up Wednesday Live for school year 24-25. For the love of local, our first show, what better way to kick it off than all the celebrations this month, right? We have National Farm to School Month. We'll be talking about that. To this week is Hump Day of National School Lunch Week, and we have lots to share, caught doing something good all around our region. And again, for the love of local for us, one of our pillars is always to inspire you with recipes. So get ready for the next hour. We're going to talk a lot about ways you can think about loving local on your menus, but also preparing because we're falling into winter. It's getting a little cold. If you're from Northeast Ohio, you know what I mean. It's supposed to be, warm this weekend, but we're cold today. So we want to help you warm up your menu with thoughtful menu ideas for the fall into winter. So we're going to start today with these three items. The first is going to be Miss Allie Guzik, who is a colleague and friend of ours from What's Up Wednesday, from Feed Our Future on What's Up Wednesday for our first show. And we're going to get the party started with all of the stats and celebration for the things that you are doing well. Next, we'll go into our menu inspiration with our team here at Pisanick and ways that you can see this happening now in celebrations for local harvest as well as National School Lunch Week. But then again, those fun ways to get caught doing something good, send us your pictures. We'd like to highlight. There's so much we know we're not capturing, and we really want to be able to tell the menu story that many of you don't know about all the hard work that goes into the efforts we do. And last but not least, our Caught Doing Something Good is going to share with you an inspiration that I received when I was at ANC this summer. And that is a wonderful partnership with a new company entitled Flavor Temptations and our new friend, Sarah, who is going to talk a little bit about not only local stuff, but this global on-trend flavor of Indian cuisine that is really kind of hitting the markets and taking off very well. So we're going to first start by kicking off with our dear Allie Guzik. Allie Guzik is the Farm to School Program Manager. Many of you remember her when she first started. She was the road warrior behind all of the Tasty Days and the creations of really connecting not only information for schools into how to procure those items, but really getting them in the hands of students. So I don't want to steal your thunder, Allie. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'll let you go with your celebration of the stats.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me today. I'm super excited to share, how we did last school year with purchasing local and then some other upcoming updates and exciting things that are happening with Farm to School. Next slide, please. Sorry, I don't think I have control, right?
Yeah, I think, yep, there you go.
Okay, thank you. So last school year, we, through our Farm to School bid, we nearly spent $1 million in local food sales, and we had 60 schools purchasing local from our Farm to School bid, which is super exciting. Over 50% of the sales were to producers that are designated as socially disadvantaged. So that's either minority owned, LGBTQ owned, small business enterprises, veteran or women owned. So that's super exciting. We're creating some diversity in this marketplace. And then from the school year prior, so 2022 to 2023 school year, as you can see on the slide, we've increased the number of schools that are purchasing from our Farm to School bid by 33%. 43% increase across all the OSC Farm to School vendors, and then 5 new vendors actually entered the school food supply chain. So each year we're growing, and that's super exciting. I'm excited to see where we'll be next year. And then we also really want to highlight the schools and individuals that are still purchasing local, but they're purchasing local directly rather than through our Farm to School bid. We would love for you to scan the QR code and you can share your story with us, and we will be able to promote the hard work that you're doing and the local food that you're purchasing that way if you do not purchase directly from our bid. We also have the sharing your stories on our newsletters that are sent out each month and on our website. So we want to hear about these direct purchases as well. And we welcome you to, share your story that way. And then we can share it out to the community. And then an exciting update, we have created our first professional development tool in partnership with Pisanick Partners. So our Launching Local Farm to School Guide is our first professional development tool for school nutrition professionals. So This is targeted towards all kitchen staff, not just food service directors, the line staff as well. This is a no-cost, self-paced professional development tool. And it's, as you can see, 6 modules. Each module takes about 25 minutes to complete. And then afterwards, you'll get a certificate of completion. And, you know, we worked with Pisanick to create this, and we have some really great new recipes featuring local items. And it's just really important with this professional development tool that we can increase local foods and scratch cooking and, you know, do all the things to create more local in-school meals.
I love that, Allie. I will just add, Pisanic is always grateful for your inclusion of us helping support. You know, again, it's could be intimidating sometimes for people to say, "Oh my gosh, how am I going to start?" And I think what I love about this professional development series, you hit the nail on the head. It is self-paced. It's chunked out in bite-sized portions, if you will, to help you kind of step yourself into using and utilizing local in your program wherever your team, where your infrastructure, where you're at. So this curriculum, I think what I love most about it is it really meets you where you're at. And it helps those that are already doing it advance a little bit, and those that are brand new, welcome to the community of support that you'll see. And so we really do, again, thank you, Allie, and your team at the Board of Health. I am a board member of Feed Our Future, very proud. We've done this, and you said every year it gets a little better and better. And so I really want, I think most folks know, but I don't know that they know every year they can look at what you have as assets. So I love that you have these slides, and let's talk a little bit about how Feed Our Future continues to evolve assets that are free and accessible for all schools to really celebrate their local programs.
Yeah, so for those of you who are not aware of this, we have a Harvest of the Month program. So each month we highlight a different seasonable item that can be grown in Ohio. But you know, we also looked at it from the food service and school meal perspective as well, where we asked, you know, what foods are you already serving in school meals, and what is grown when, and how can we integrate the two to promote, you know, a local food each month. So as you can see, October is Apple Month, and we have some really great resources, including a Harvest of the Month poster. It's a large poster that can be hung up in the cafeteria, classrooms, anywhere where you would like to educate students in a fun, you know, colorful way. We have 2 different kits and 2 different posters. So we have posters for ages K through 5 and then 6 through 12. So, you know, these can be placed in multiple different buildings and are tailored towards different age groups. In our middle here, as you can see, are actually one of our new recipes, which I'm super excited about. And new this year, you'll see that we actually added on a speed scratch cook guide onto each of the recipes. So we were doing this before already, where we kind of structured our recipes that we have created, you know, with Pisanic to be kind of, you know, like a less complex, and getting, you know, they get more complex with certain recipes. And these are just all based on the fact that some schools have certain capacity over others, and we appreciate that and we understand that. And again, we want to meet everybody where they are. So we added the thermometer onto, I'm sorry, the gauge onto the recipe, so that it's really easy to decipher what recipe goes into what category, either ready to cook, speed scratch, or scratch made.
I
And
love
then,
that. Yeah,
yeah,
love that. And also this recipe, not only is it fun because it's kind of a spoof on maybe a popular fast food hand pie, if you're doing it with local dough and local apples, you've just had a local meal takeover for your breakfast or your brunch for lunch menu. So we really anticipate those types of synergies between product lines. So we love that idea, and we had really fun day testing that and using that local Dogo's dough for this product.
yeah. So I'm glad we could integrate that. And just a sneak preview, you might see that thermometer and gauge a little bit in the professional development tool. So I won't give anything away, but you might see that more than once. And then lastly, our Harvest of the Month Hub, that is on our website. Oh, sorry, can you go back one
Yeah,
step?
go back one day.
No problem, no problem. That last area on the right is our Harvest of the Month Hub. So on our website, feedourfuture.org, Each Harvest of the Month item has its own hub where you can download and print these free resources for use in the classroom, cafeteria, or even at home. So like I said, each Harvest of the Month item has this, includes a fact sheet, home and school recipes, word searches, coloring sheets, and then a grower flyer.
Love it. Free, all free, people. This is
Yes.
an awesome resource. And again, if you downloaded it last year, be free to look and see what you need to replenish. We know when you hang things up, they kind of get crumpled and maybe not the best presentation. So contact us and let us know if we can be supportive in replacing things. If you're an existing pledge person and have requested these kits, I think that's important to tell people. I think they think it's a one and done, Allie, and I'm like, no, get new.
Yes, yes, please contact us and we can set you up with getting new resources. Next slide, please. Thank you. All right, and I'm super excited about our new storytelling toolkits. So we've had toolkits for producers that are growing food for our students, but we have not started our food series yet until this year. So on here, you'll see our 3 new food series storytelling toolkits. Each of these toolkits include a large poster, trading cards, and a food series flyer. And these toolkits are really meant to promote the people that are making food for your school meals. So I know Dogo's, the Pizza Bagel Lady, and Shagbark Seed and Mill are huge local vendors that people are using to promote local on their menus. So now there's a way that you can engage students and really bridge that gap and connect the people that are, again, making their food and the kids that are eating it. So on this slide, you can see the trading cards that we have. If you're interested in learning more about how to get these, I will have my contact information on the next slide or the one after that. So please reach out and we can get you set up with receiving these storytelling kits. And there you go. Yeah. So here is for any questions, you can reach us at ohiofeedourfuture@gmail.com. And please follow us on Instagram. We're always posting updates and fun photos. So
And you are doing a nice campaign for our month here in October. Do you want to talk a little bit about following on Instagram to see daily posts on all things?
yeah, so every day we're posting something new to celebrate Farm to School Month. So each day there will be updates about either our professional development tool, events that we're hosting, recipes, other policies that may be happening, any updates to Farm to School, we will be posting every day. So again, if you follow us at Feed Our Future Ohio, you'll be able to stay up to date.
I love that. Thank you so, so much for joining us, being our spotlight guest. This is the time of the year where we are so excited to celebrate all that is Farm to School and Harvest. But we are going to talk a little bit in our next section here about we don't want it to go away. Like we want this month to last forever for the celebration of all things local. As you saw the slide and the QR code, we are going to be dropping things into the chat as well. And then again, our What's Up Wednesday series will come with a follow-up email with all the links. So anything that you've seen here with Allie will be shared out with you as an attendee and a follow-up. So we appreciate you today and always for all the work you do as a school professional supporter in all things local. So thank you so much for being with us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm going to invite up my friends. Of course, I celebrate National School Lunch Week and my staff because it's not, it takes a village, I say all the time, to create opportunities for schools. And we utilize standardized recipes. You all know this. So I'm going to pass it over to Marge to talk a little bit about what we're doing with menu inspiration. Oh, yeah. I'm backing it this way, one way or the other.
So yes, thank you to Allie for coming on here and talking about Feed Our Future and all the impact that they have. With that being said, she mentioned Harvest of the Month and what a great way to look at menu inspiration when we can celebrate local throughout the whole year and not just October for apples. So we're looking at November for sweet potatoes. We have December for potatoes. January's hydroponic lettuce. February's carrots. And Harvest of the Month is just a great way to celebrate in-season local produce. And what a better way to do that than do it throughout the whole year. So with it, looking on the next slide, you can see that there's so many different menu options. And again, as Ali mentioned, there's so many different ways that we can incorporate recipes, and maybe these are some things you already have on your menu. And if that is said, then you can, look at different options for that for the whole year. So with that being said, March, now it's your turn to take it off.
Thank you. So as you know, we always like a good theme day. So I'm just going to highlight a few that will be upcoming. National Chinese Takeout Day is coming up on November 5th. We have a recipe. We have a lot of recipes that use the ramen noodles, the whole grain noodles. This is one that I particularly like, a good like faux peanut sauce that I thought would be a great thing to put in one of these containers that GFS has to make it kind of like Chinese takeout. So if you like this recipe or would like to celebrate this day, again, let us know. We're always happy to share this recipe. Also coming up, since it's National Apple Crunch Month and coincides with National Nacho Day on November 6th, we thought combine the two, and you can do nachos in a different way with breakfast apple nachos. So this is a great fresh recipe. You could really do this all local too, as I'm thinking about it, with a local yogurt if you wanted, local apples, local granola, as much as you would like to make this local. But what better way to do, again, National Nachos Day with a twist. So if you get those apples in this month, and maybe you have some that the kids aren't taking because they're a little bruised, they're slightly imperfect, we thought a great way to take those apples and upcycle them is to cook those apples down and make a mini apple tart using one of the local Dogo's cookies. I think this works well with like the sugar cookie or a ginger snap cookie. Fill that with the apple filling, and again, local on local. Love that. So that might be something very seasonal that you might want to try. And of course, everybody loves Halloween and having fun on Halloween. Again, for those schools that work with us, we can share recipes that have these types of pictures in them. So when students and families are looking on my school menus, they get the seasonal vibe. So if there's something you want to do, let us know, and we're happy to help create those recipes and make that theme visible on your menu, that there's going to be a special celebration. This is just the best way to get a hold of us if you'd like any of these recipes. Of course, we call it our support ticket system, support@ppllc.info, asking for any of the recipes you like, or if you're a client that we help manage your menus and you want to menu any of these recipes, again, just let us know, and we're happy to do that.
I'm gonna pause right here because I don't know if many of you know our newest Pisanick partner. This is Elena L. Williams, and she is awesome with the idea of coming on board and helping you be successful. So you saw her go through the slides. We know we have all the support from Allie and the resources from Feed Our Future. If you have not yet dipped a toe into trying to think about a theme for the month, that is something, that support ticket system you see right there, you can automatically put in, again, a request. Would love to have a conversation about thinking about at a glance and being proactive. Each month of the year, there's something to celebrate. And as you heard with Allie, some of our recipes have that really easy thermometer where it's easy, and then it might get a little harder, and then it's challenging to kind of accomplish. And when we say challenging, it doesn't mean it's impossible. It just means you have to have a plan. And so today is kind of a call to action. In this month of National Farm to School Month, and in this week of National School Lunch Week, I love the energy I'm sensing here at the beginning of the year. And I often see it fizzle a little bit, right? I think we all get bound down in our winter wear, and we kind of hunker into our cycles in a way that maybe keeps our menus from celebrating all year long. And so if you have any thoughts, needs, desires, Those recipes are just a fraction of the recipes with those specific calendared harvest of the month items that we have available. We also do this as a form of professional development training. So if you are interested in developing your staff, use that same support at pplc.info. We're interested in helping you create culinary immersive training for your staff, as well as create proactive plans to manage a harvest of the month calendar throughout the school year. So with that being said, I am always catching my team doing something good. I'm going to invite the whole family up here to kind of talk through, we are so excited about what we've been seeing. The energy around school food has been contagious in my book. I think it's just been a thrill. So we're going to each highlight some of the things we've been able to be a part of or hear good things happening to maybe hopefully light a little light bulb moment for you to think about ways that you can continue this celebration throughout the school year.
All right. Love the apple crunch pictures. And so what we have here is from our littlest ones at Lorain County Head Start. They celebrated apple crunch by reading Peppa Pig Goes Apple Picking. So that was fun, engaging in the classroom. And then the kids got a local apple to crunch. And then Rebecca Nav from DEW, the Farm to School coordinator, shared some additional pictures with us. We have here Bay High School. They had a celebration where Munch the Fox came in and celebrated with them for their Apple Crunch Day.
So I love this. This slide is like bookends. It's like the babies and the big kids. So if you are thinking, oh, my kids won't like it, I think you should think again. I think any excitement around building a program around celebrating local, it doesn't matter how old you are. And we've had staffs that have really gotten in on it. And, we know who that staff is. We're going to have to highlight. We have to highlight. I know it seems like we have we don't play favorites here at Pisanick. We want all you're caught doing something good. But on the next slide, we were able personally to be with Woodbridge.
Yes.
And Woodbridge Middle School, if those of you who, Jess was the first award-winning mystery chef. And it stands to reason because she doesn't stop with her innovation ever, I don't think, right?
No.
And one of the things I'll point, and then I'm going to let you talk about it, is I love that, yes, it's about getting local apples and providing an opportunity for that taste experience. But she did more than that. I mean, she had information up about the different varieties of apples that are available regionally, what they're good to do. Are they good to bake? Are they good to crunch on? Are they good to, how do you like them? Are they tart? Are they sweet? So, again, confused buyers don't buy generally. And if I'm a child that looks at an apple and it might look a little imperfect or multiple colors, no two apples are the same. I need to know what I'm eating before I'm going to try it. And what I was so impressed about working with the team that day was that not only did she look at it from an educational opportunity standpoint, she really didn't spend a lot of time, money, or make it too, cumbersome. Like, look at that, guys. It's handwritten. It's got stuff that's glued on a piece of poster board, and it still was a fabulous educational moment and display. So again, don't think it's too hard or impossible. One of the other pieces I like, as you see, of course, she's the decorating diva, but she also had those flavors pre-counted. Now, why does that matter? For me, when we are doing all this hard work, we don't tell our stories enough. And so the caught doing something good and the pictures and the celebrations you see on social media are really meant to help you get that story out. But when you think about, well, how sustainable is this for my program? I don't even know how many apples to order because I don't know which kind they like. Going back to that slide, David, the picture prior, the prior slide, that picture with the bustles there, she pre-counted all of those apples into bushels so that after the kids self-selected with a little encouragement, hey, would you like to be part of our crunch day? Here's local apples. She was able to do a post count and see how many kids took which flavor variety. So now she's thinking, I'm educating kids, and now I'm educating my staff and my ordering process to, again, reduce waste. We don't want any waste. So, I think a lot of times people go, I don't know what varieties of apples to order. I don't know how many to order. So things like simply pre-count, post-count, and allowing a self-selection of a variety of apples, specifically at this middle school age. They're older. Addison's a 6th grader now. She's in middle school. I do this at home. We took her apple picking, and that's where those apples came from. And she got to look at those sheets at an orchard and really say, oh, I like them sweet. I like them tart. I like them crunchy. She is definitely a crisp queen, every variety of crisps. But certainly an education moment for me as a parent in our own pick your own experience. But go ahead, talk a little bit about these crazy, I mean, they dress up, they.
Yeah. They definitely go all out. They are a group of women that put their all into everything they do. We did invite, ODEW brought out Munch. So Munch the Fox came in and he was with the middle schoolers. And when he first made his appearance, it was like, everybody was screaming and hollering. And it was so neat to have. So you do see that they do, even at a middle school age, where they're kind of I don't know where I'm at yet, want to be a kid, but also want to be an adult. They still had a blast with Munch coming there, and he stayed the whole time. So if you're interested in doing, all you got to do is reach out to DEW and say, hey, listen, I'd love to have Munch come into my school and do something, and he was wonderful. And the kids loved him, and the ladies, they just kept going. I mean, they made apple slaw, they made homemade apple crisp, they had apple pie smoothies. Everything was apple based basically on the menu. They did go all out. Jess did do the numbers. She did count every one of the kinds that came in. They did 227 apples were taken that day. And I do have the actual numbers. I just didn't get them up there.
Yeah.
Honey Crisp was definitely the favorite of the group.
Yeah.
But it was nice because the kids were able to come and say, hey, I want a sweet apple. So she was able to point to the chart and say, hey, here you go. There you go. And like I said, it's nothing fancy. I mean, she just does this. And this is, I think we just talked about this, her 9th year doing the apple crunch. So even during STEM, we did it. When we had COVID, we did STEM and we sent them home to the schools, to the kids at school. So, but then on top of this, here's poor Jess during Apple Crunch, just telling you the hurricane was going over her house in Florida. And she's still getting them apples out and not wearing. So, this week is National School Lunch Week. And again, they love to dress up. So here's my little pirates out there ready to go and bringing local and their little R's all across the board. And so the whole week they've had something new and they promoted local. They've got their doubloon dogo cookies and they brought in a local cucumber salad. She even brought turnips out, which I thought, oh my gosh, I've never had a raw turnip. But the kids, it was very interesting to see, they were able to soak them in a little lemon juice and she made little veggie cups with them. So these kids tried a new vegetable on top of everything this week with National School Lunch Week and bringing, all local in here. And on top of Woodridge, we also did, it's not up there, we did at our elementary school promoting all, October local month, we started our first hydroponic tower. So we have the Flex Tower in our elementary school as well. So I'm anxious to see pictures down the road with that.
It's growing. It's growing.
It's growing.
And you see here, the Smarter Lunchroom theory is not dead, folks. So cutesy naming of the menu items, call to action day after day to wait till you see what's treasure you're going to find tomorrow. Build that expectation and enthusiasm. And she just does such a great job. So if you're interested, I know she would be happy to share with you all the ways she has her team collaborate on these events. But we are just so proud of you always, Jess, and the team at Woodridge for really elevating. They made it onto Tips for School Meals That Rock. For those folks that follow that on Facebook, that's something to be said. That's a national Facebook page for those folks that really are promoting and elevating the story of school nutrition and really trying not only to give ourselves pats on the back, which I think we need sometimes, but to really change the perception of what school meals look like and can look like when you are with a care and commitment to doing things like special theme days and local foods. So we love that. There's more. I know there's more. Brand new schools.
Yes. So Madison in Mansfield, they did an all local professional development day on Monday. So they came back from a long weekend and they want to start infusing local into their program. So they're going to start doing the Dogos crust to make homemade pizza, which the staff all tried and loved. And then you'll see the cinnamon cookies there in the middle, and they're also going to do the breakfast bars. So they're really excited to try this. I think a professional development day is a great opportunity to showcase that to the staff, because I feel like those are the people that you need to get buy-in from first, because they're the ones selling the stuff to the kids, right? So what a great way to do that.
Yes, and we have to give a shout out again, DEW and Rebecca Nab and her Munch have been making their rounds here. And so Jen from Crestwood, we all know and love her enthusiasm for school meals. She does have a really active page, as does Jess. So again, if you're not following Tips That School Meals That Rock, those schools, Woodridge and Jen Hirsch at Crestwood, they really tell a nice menu story. So if you're thinking about developing your own story, this was again, exceptional commitment to not only National School Lunch Week, but the celebration of all things local for National Farm to School Month within a completely local takeover menu. And so she has been able to do everything from the protein with a local beef to build a chili, to do the baked potato, to do that ever popular baked potato bar, but do it with local potatoes and local beef, local corn. Obviously, get it while it's hot, people. It's gone. But we all love our Ohio local corn, and what a better way to get kiddos to crunch on something other than an apple this month than trying some local corn on the cob. She had her farmers listed. She showed all of that commitment, and then she also shared that commitment to others in the school community on her social medias. Munch has been busy, and we appreciate all that DEW and the support of Rebecca Nat and her team do for and with us. And we especially want to congratulate all of the champions that really take that extra step in time. And again, partly, we really want to think about how do we keep this momentum going, right? Because I celebrate our team throughout the school year supporting you, and not just this month and not just this week, but for all of the warrior work you do on menu creation. So we really do appreciate it. But we have to cook with you, right? So coming up next, we've got to get cooking. I'm gonna let my team take off, except Tina. I never let her go when I'm cooking. She is the queen of mise en place, and certainly my left and right arm when we do them. She's gonna switch with me. So here you go.
We're gonna do a little.
We are going to do two different things today. So I think I'm super excited. You know where I'm at. I'm at Mike Sandridge's studio in Medina, which is a local company we love to support, not only for their commitment to us, but to you, because they come always with bright ideas, enthusiasm around professional development, and that can-do attitude where we often stop ourselves and say, I don't think I could make something that cool or that quality, or I can't afford it. There are so many recipes coming down the pike. But I will say one of my my new finds and friends, and I'm going to spotlight her here on our camera, is a company called Flavor Temptations. I don't know if any of you have seen this company, but I'm going to do a humble brag because, the old saying, nobody puts baby in the corner. This little booth, this little small but mighty booth, caught my attention in Boston this summer at ANC, the National School Nutrition Association food show. And what happened there at this little booth was something that smelled delicious, that was engaging, and that was, part of what I would call the real grassroots efforts of really connecting businesses that care about school food service with food service. And so I walked over to this little beautiful face with her husband and partner in business and thought, wow, you are doing some really cool things, and I need to taste this, which was bar none most exceptional food I think I've had in terms of the ability to have a true Indian flavor cuisine. But also, I think one of the things that drew me to you, it was the story. So I welcome you today, Sarah, and I'm gonna let you talk a little bit about your company, Flavor Temptations, and introduce it a little bit more. We really appreciate your time today, and you can share where you're joining us from, and certainly talk a little bit about what your company has and what it is. You're on mute.
Is that okay?
Yes, you're good.
Thank you, Maureen, and thanks everyone for listening to me today. So I'm Sarah Parthasarathi, so don't worry about the last name. It's just Sarah from Flavor Temptations. And we are immigrants from India, me and my husband, and he's not able to join today, unfortunately. And we are immigrants from India, and the past few years, we have had this passion of, helping people understand our culture through food, because that is how people typically try to learn about a culture. You go eat Italian food and they're like, oh wow, I want to know a little bit more about how it's made and how it's put together, and learn about the culture a bit. So that's what our passion is, and also to sort of feed America's children healthy food, flavorful. I mean, there's a lot of flavors already, but bringing in helping them explore some new flavors, right? So, and I don't know how many of you have tried Indian food, but it can be really complicated to cook an Indian meal. There are a lot of spices that get involved, and what people really don't, struggle with, they actually struggle with is the layering of the spices. So it's like some of the spices go up front, some of them go in the middle, some of them go at the end. And sometimes when you look at this laundry list of spices that goes into an Indian recipe, you're like, oh my God, where do I get this from? right? It's like a teaspoon of that, a half a teaspoon of that, quarter of that, a dash of this, a pinch of this. And you're like, oh, I think I'm just going to an Indian restaurant. So the best way then we thought is, how do we make it easy? And we realized that people, adding curry powder and adding, making Indian food really is not the right thing. And when my son left home and tried to cook Indian food, he messed up each time. I gave him a list, I never measure, I just sort of put everything together and gave him a masala dabba or a masala box, which contain all the spices. And I said, just put a little of each, you'll be fine. And, well, he has big hands, so he put a little of each, right? And ultimately it came back so bad. And he was like, Mom, it's not coming out well. I don't know what to do. And since he lived in town, he would come home and he would say, can you cook dinner for me? And I'm like, well, honey, I'm done cooking for you, go fish. So I had to teach him how to fish. So what I did was, instead of giving him curry powder, because he wanted the authenticity of his grandma's recipes, which is what I was, using, I decided to put everything together in little tiny little sachets. So I measured each spice and then I would put it into sachets, and you can see there are multiple spices out here. And then to make it even better for him, I numbered them 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 goes first, 2 goes next. So that way he won't mess it up, right? So he decided to go and cook for himself, and he did such a great job of it. He would bring it back and he would say, wow, this is great. And we live in Madison, Wisconsin. So we are one of your neighbors in the Midwest. So, and he would make it and he would bring it and he would show it to me, and I would eat it like, wow, this tastes really good. And then I said, what is this stringy thing coming up? He's like, well, I just added some cheese. Well, we are in Wisconsin, right? So we have to have cheese, and we are the cheeseheads. So anyway, so that is how it came about. From a hobby, it became, like a product that we could do. We started putting together these recipe packs. So each one contains the recipe, and it contains all the spices. Everything gets measured up, and the packet comes here. So you get the recipe, you get the directions, what else you need to buy. We call it a spice kit, similar to a meal kit, but without the fresh ingredients. Because why? We want people to go local, right? So we can give the spices, and then people can, go to their local grocery stores, go to their farms, go to their garden, their kitchen garden, and they can actually make their own authentic Indian meal, layering it the way that we do, and they can enjoy a good meal at home.
Oh, I love this, Sarah. I love this. I will say I loved meeting you. I loved tasting your food, but I certainly, one of the things I love is that story about your son. And I think, people think cooking is hard. And if it has more steps and it's confusing, when they're not successful, they usually don't try again, right? And so one of the things that really captured my attention, not only with your company, how you founded it, the personal story of the son, which resonates with me because I think my kiddos are always my, they're my test kitchen, my real test kitchen at home. But I do love the idea and the concept that's scientific in nature. So sometimes it's not easy. So we talk about this thermometer of like, how do we get this Indian flavor? And for those of you who haven't caught on yet, I'm onto something, because this is global on trend flavor. And now we're in the local month. So you brought up a really good point. Your description of flavor building. Can you just talk a little bit? And I have Tina here with me because she's been practicing. We've got our spice kits here. We got our bags. We've done a test of this recipe. And I think the idea of flavor building, just tell us a little bit about flavor building from your perspective.
So in Indian cooking, you have seeds like mustard seeds, and you have cumin seeds, and then you have like powders like coriander powder, cumin powder, turmeric powder. Of course, turmeric is the in thing, cayenne pepper, and things like that. And then you also have some finishing products, finishing spices, like the garam masala is considered a finishing spice. So basically, the flavor building is some of the spices have to cook for a longer time, whereas because they need to like get absorbed by the vegetables and the proteins that you're adding to it. And some of them, the spices are pre-cooked. Like the garam masala is usually a pre-cooked blend of spices, like 7 or 8, and each garam masala recipe is different. My mother's is the one that I use. And so those that also we layer. There are like 7 spices that go in. So the hardy spices get roasted first, and then the lighter spices like maybe bay leaf and cumin, which could burn if you're leaving it in the stove for a long time, they come in at the very end. And then after that, you mix them together, then you roast them. You then make sure that they're cooled, and then you grind them. So that's what garam masala is. You don't have to throw it in front up in the very first step because it's already cooked, right? So why get it all there? But if you add it to the end, the garam masala will pop the rest of the flavors that have already been cooking in it. So that's the flavor building prospect. Now, when it comes to food service, you're not going to be sitting and smelling all the spices. You're going to be like in and out of the kitchen. You have to get it in, right? So we
Yes.
did the same thing for food service. The same chana masala, we put it into larger packets, and these larger packets, let me just not blur my background then. So these larger packets, then, again, the same concept, 1, 2, 3, 4, in and out, and you're done cooking. So you will make like 10 pounds of chana masala with this, adding your own local onions and tomatoes, ginger and garlic, and that's all you need. And then you could use your commodity chickpeas, and you can make chana masala out of it. So you're using local, you're using commodity, and you're bringing in new flavors. And that way your cafeteria is going to like smell like an Indian restaurant when the kids walk in, and they're
It
going to just
certainly
love
smelled
it.
that way. It smelled that way when I walked past your booth. And I knew you weren't going to be a best kept secret for long. And you're very humble. But Flavor Temptations was also, a part of this big event in Boston. But you just recently got to spend some time with the Urban School Alliance. And for those of you who don't know, Sarah has worked with like LA Unified, some of the big schools. So if you're thinking, hey, this isn't for my school, or I don't know if I can do it, there's lots of things we can talk about. But Sarah, talk a little bit about the schools you've seen this work well in, and also congratulations on your Innovator Award for the Urban School Alliance, because we really, you caught our attention. You're very innovative in this process to teach folks flavor building, and then also incorporate a spice kit that they can use versatilely. Like in a minute here, we have pulled chicken from Sandridge, our local. I mean, they could be making that flavor happen really easily in our region. And I know you've done this around the nation. So talk a little bit about your school experience.
So we were sort of discovered by the Minneapolis Public Schools at one of the local trade shows, and they said, we want to do this chana masala from scratch. Burton Weber from Minneapolis Public Schools were the one who found us. And they said, just hang on tight and fasten your seatbelts because you're going to like zoom, because a lot of schools are looking for this. We didn't believe him. But anyway, it happened pre-COVID, and now post-COVID, we are in a lot of various schools. And what we have found is there are large school districts like LAUSD, and there are smaller school districts like we have a real smaller school district, like even in Wisconsin, we have in Madison, there's Sun Prairie Public Schools, even Madison schools. Now Cincinnati from Ohio are planning to do a taste test. And what they are planning to do is not only this cook, I call these the cook from scratch spice kits, they're planning to use my speed scratch sauce. So using the same concept of flavor building, usually when you do the spice kits, step 5 is usually creating the sauce, which has onions and tomatoes and ginger, garlic, and the spices. Flavor blends 1, 2, and 3 go into it. And usually we give a flavor blend 3, which is cayenne, so that you can now tailor and customize your spice level. So for the younger kids, go easy on the cayenne. You don't have to use it all. But for the older kids, maybe go gung-ho on it. And, they're adding sriracha to everything anyway, so might as well give them the real spice, right? They can make it. So Cincinnati is planning to do the sauce, use the sauce, and they're planning to do some taste testing with that. And so with the sauce, we just pre-made the sauce. It's speed scratch. Now all you have to do is add protein. The other thing we also did is, because you guys have got so much of this USDA stuff about sodium and sugars and additives and preservatives, and it's like, I don't know how you do it, but we just made sure none of our products have got any sodium in it. No added sodium in anything, no sugars, no additives, no preservatives, no gluten, no dairy. So it's like we are checking all your boxes for you, so then you can decide how you want to incorporate it based on what else you have going on in the week for your menu.
Yes,
So
I love it. We're going to keep you talking, but I'm going to get her cooking because you're making me hungry talking about flavor building, and we can't not have a taste of something today. And so one of the things we loved about this is you can customize not only your heat level and your flavor building, but today we're going to try your curried potato recipe. So she's working on that. So talk a little bit about this recipe.
so the curried potato recipe is made using a spice kit which comes like this. So this is for the food service spice kit. So it has got the seeds, it has got the cayenne pepper, and then it's got the powders. We again simplified it for food service primarily because it's easier to do it that way. So that's what we have in the curried potatoes. So what Tina is going to do when we are doing it at a home skillet, you're going to add the seeds, you're going to toast the seeds in the oil, and then subsequent to that, so when the seeds actually toast, they bloom and they release their aroma, so you can actually smell it as it is being cooked, right?
Oh,
And
absolutely, absolutely. And you have great videos on your website too with this, but we are so excited to demonstrate this today. And if you can't hear it through the art of TV here, it's sizzling and popping, and it is already smelling delicious.
so I call it the dancing seeds actually, because of the way they dance around. And then you're adding it to the potatoes, you're sort of marinating the potatoes along with that. And then you're now going to be adding the powders, which is basically cumin powder, coriander powder, and turmeric. That will give it a beautiful, beautiful golden color. And at the same time, it's going to add some more flavors to the potatoes.
And now she's going to take that to the oven because we want to get taste in this. So
Yeah,
one of the
and
things
then
that I'm so excited is two of the pillars of our recipe development for Pisanick in our cookbooks is global on trend flavors, which this checks that box. And these are local potatoes. And guess what we just showed you? Harvest of the month potato coming up into season in Ohio. December is the featured white potato. November is a sweet potato. Could you do this with the sweet potato?
absolutely. Do it
Okay.
with sweet potatoes. You can do it with cauliflower. You can do it with a vegetable medley. So any of the dry vegetables, squash and things like that, don't really take that much to it because it releases moisture and water when you add salt to it. But anything like the root vegetables or any of those cauliflower and things, perfect. It works very well.
I love this. Yeah. I'm going to invite my resident chef here with us on stage. So I want to introduce you to one of my friends. He's a brother from another mother. His name is Keith. And he is our chef that we work with all of the time here at Sandridge. So I'm going to have you taste this.
Oh, great.
I put him on the spot. I put him on the spot. But yeah, he's good. He's got to go in there. What do you think?
Very, very good. Yeah, I'll have another.
Yeah, he's gonna have another. So, one of the things we love to do, and you talked about combining with local. So this concept of making it something that you could do a commodity, like something that you can get a number 10 can of garbanzo chickpea beans and make it a chana masala. But we also know that you do a great pulled chicken.
Yep, absolutely.
And so flavor building onto maybe a higher level. So like if you have commodity dollars that you're going to dog ear somewhere else and you want to maybe have a more premium bar concept, that pulled chicken would be fabulous
Absolutely.
with that.
Actually, a pulled chicken over top of these potatoes would be even
Right.
better.
So like a loaded potato. Yes.
Yeah.
So the possibilities are endless. Sarah, I so appreciate you for joining us today. All of your information has been dropped in the chat. It will be following our email that goes out. And we appreciate all you do. Again, congratulations for winning that Innovator Award. We truly believe you are an innovator, and we appreciate your time here this National School Lunch Week to celebrate maybe some new ideas. We too, I know Jessica's trying it in the south of the state here in Cincinnati, but we are happy to help you all do some try days. Do again that culinary education. Get this in front of kids because we know you'll love it if you do. And Sarah and her family will support you every step of the way. So they'll be ordering information and all that stuff in the follow-up email if you're looking at a direct purchase to try it and then see about how this is working around the nation. And again, just thank you so much, Sarah, for your time today.
Thank you so much, Maureen.
All right. What do we have?
Well, where do we want to get started?
Yeah, we can't leave today without National School Lunch Week. Thinking of fall into winter, I get ready for soups. I get ready for all kinds of fun things, but I'm not ready to let go of that like global on trend yet. So tell us what you did last year we talked about a dessert for the holidays. And so I'm going to let you talk a little bit about what you used as a vehicle for this dip and what we did with the local non-bread here to connect that local and global on trend.
Yep. So this is the Cheesecake Delight, which I'm sure everyone's familiar with. So it sounds a little weird at first, but just hear me out. We actually took that tikka masala seasoning that we were just talking about here and actually mixed this into the Cheesecake Delight. It actually, with that earthy, little mild spice from the tikka masala, mix into the Cheesecake Delight. It just comes out really nice. And then we took the local naan bread here and just cut it into quarters and actually just toss it with a little lightly with a little bit of cinnamon and sugar. And it just came out really, really nice. So the flavor profile is nice. So you have a little bit of heat, but that really nice sweet flavor to it as well, too. So we just wanted to kind of show you that.
Yeah.
Just another way to use that Cheesecake Delight as well.
What a fun way. So this local naan is from Aladdin's. It is currently available local in many of the distribution chains. If you haven't tried it yet, just alone without anything on it, it stands as a delicious whole grain option. If you're thinking about doing an Indian inspired bar concept, that is exactly, again, ways you can get it on your menu, try it, and then jazz it up and do it in different ways. So we're not only are about global on trend and local, we're about getting things on your menu that become versatile tools to deliver the components you need to. So that whole grain ounce equivalent in that would give you a 2 whole grain ounce equivalent, and then the dip is your extra. And it can be a recipe that's provided in terms of something that adds element of surprise, because people have done like the bacon and donuts. That's another one that was like, people are like, bacon and donuts, and they're like, this is sweet and salty and savory is a really good blend. So it takes it up a notch.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
with that being said, we have some concepts here that again are inspired by all the wonderful products that we see at Sandridge at the food shows, and often think, I don't know how I would turn that into something on my menu. So I'm going to hand it over to you and Tina, your sous chef over there, and
Yes.
take it away.
Tina, you want to come up right here and
Yeah.
talk a little bit about what we're doing too here?
So what we're doing is kind of looking into, again, apple season. So we're all talking all local and bringing it in. So this is gonna be, we've a kale salad, and using your apples in it. And there's so many different varieties and ways you can do it. So we have just plain our regular kale blend that we ordered. You can do fresh kale, cut it up, and then we're gonna make a homemade dressing.
Yeah.
So he's gonna just show several different ways we can use kale salad in one variety.
Yep. So we're going to start off. We're actually going to be using our fully cooked penne pasta here. See how easy this is.
So what a nice twist seasonally for a pasta salad. So if you're thinking, I love pasta salad, but I only put it on my spring menus because it goes well with what we think goes for a barbecue themed menu. This is going to come together in 2 seconds. Tina's over here making this lovely scratch dressing.
Yep. She was up all night.
Yes, toiling away here in a simple ball jar.
Yep.
These local apples have been diced after being washed.
By a local person.
By a local person, local, celebrating local. We have a local celebrity that has joined us. I'm going to call him up here in a second because he's teasing me, so I'm going to tease him right back.
Well, he wears the hat.
It's National School Lunch Weekend. Guess what the theme is? It is pirates. So this is this is the time of the show we get a little silly, but I am going to bring him up in a second, if you will.
So first, again, as you saw as we were talking here, we took our penne pasta fully cooked. We added the apples, the kale mix, a little bit of the craisins here, and now we're going to make and just add a little bit of this dressing. The nice thing about this is actually really nice. It could be made the night before, the day before. It's going to be nice and bright, colorful. Everything that we're showing you here as well too. There is no right or wrong way to do anything, right? So if there's something else you want to add into this, we certainly can.
I know you had mentioned like feta cheese on top.
Yep.
So we didn't bring feta
Yep.
today, but
Yep.
if you're thinking, like the Wisconsin cheese story with the Indian food, if you're a cheese loving fans, that's a potential add-on on this.
Yep.
If you're thinking, what kind of salad can I do for Thanksgiving that's going to wow my family and be different? This is something that not only travels well, but it could be something that you can boast at your home dinner table as well as your school cafeteria. So I love this idea.
And the nice thing about this salad, we've talked about how many of us are using the ramen noodles, the woodles. You could use that in place of the penne pasta in there, or quinoa. And you can use different things to throw them in, and you use one salad and it can be 4 different ways, 3-4 different ways. Plain, pasta, and also using the white pasta, not
Yep.
the whole grain, you could use it for staff. It's a great way to get your staff to come down and participate in lunch.
Yep. So 3 different ways to use that. All of them are just as easy.
Yeah.
All the same mixture to this, but just 3 different unique ways.
Remind people of that lovely quinoa. That's also a staple of many of our
Yeah.
menus.
It's a fully cooked quinoa, comes in 5 2-pounders, just like this. The nice thing about it is, even though it's only the 2-pounders, everything you add to this is just going to expand as well too. So really nice, a great healthy way, easy to get protein into somebody's diet as well too. I mean, all the different things we've done with it, even add, like we've talked about
Yeah.
before, the pancakes, the waffles, different things, adding it into those mixes
Absolutely.
as well too.
Versatility.
So-
And that woodle, if you've tried the ramen noodle bar, you saw already for that takeout day, we've got a cold themed peanut style salad. If you thought, well, it's a non-peanut peanut because it's wild butter, so don't get excited. It's not allergy containing. But if you even feel like that's kind of a turnoff because you have allergens in your district, you can try that same kale mix, and instead of into the pasta, can place it into the woodle and stir that in. So I think the dressing is also a quick, you saw her put it 1, 2, 3, 4 ingredients, shake it up. That's a nice flavor burst in there. We talk about flavor building. So there, we will be sharing the dressing video. Thank you, Melissa. That is a simple set of ingredients. I don't know if you have it right up
Yep,
top
it
of
was
head.
just olive oil, apple cider vinegar, salt, and honey.
Easy breezy, 4 ingredients. So clean label, we talk about clean label and less than 6 ingredients that you could pronounce. And I think you did a great job nailing that one. So what else do we have here?
Yep, we're going to do 2 different things now. First and foremost, show you this overhead camera here. And what we did with this is our smoky poblano cheese soup. And now what we did with this is actually we turned it into a Philly cheesesteak soup. So if anybody has been to any of the Gordon shows yet so far this fall season, this has been a huge hit at the front of the booth. It's super simple and easy. Just adding a little bit of peppers, onions, sauteed off, and then a little bit of queso added with some Philly cheesesteak meat, I should say. So you can serve this as a soup. Okay. Next thing we're going to show you how to do it. This would also make a great loaded fry. So we just have a little bit more of this mixture here.
So you get the soup in and
Yep.
you use your commodity beef shreds and you turn a commodity with a value add soup into something that makes that commodity meat a completely different menu
Yep.
item. So this is awesome. And we all do our loaded baked spud bars. You could think of this as a fun idea on fries, but think of any potato vehicle, right?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, loaded potatoes is another, I mean, just a regular old spud.
I love that
Also
idea.
Very easy to do too.
Tater tots, tachos.
Tachos is a big thing happening.
Why
right
not?
now. Yep,
Why
yep.
not?
So there's that guy. Okay, so now we have a soup. I'm gonna leave these actually both right here. And we have a soup and loaded and fried. And lastly, mac and cheese.
There we
Yeah.
go. Many, again, commodities. You are using your commodities to get that mac and cheese center of the plate meat. Meat alternative, you can decrease the portion of it. You could add some of the protein with the Philly steak. But wow, flavor, right? So the building of a commodity plus some flavor with 3 different options, right? To
Yep.
turn your menu into a savory fall into winter option.
Absolutely. So one item, 3 different ways. All of them are applicable, I think, and
Right.
very easy to do. Again, it really is that easy to make that soup. Just a couple additional ingredients into that. So super easy, fun recipes to do there.
We love that. And I too, if you're interested, remember that support at pplc.info, email us. We are happy to create this and standardize it for you to make sure it's successful when you scale it up for the masses. This is one thing that I know we all have. This concept lives on many cycle menus, and it is your Taco Tuesday bar or your Tex-Mex celebration. So talk to us a little bit about what you've done to make that a little savory for the fall into winter.
For this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we have our cilantro lime rice. So remember, this is our fully cooked rice. So we have the brown rice, the cilantro lime rice, and a chili lime rice, all packed that same way, 4 4-pounders ready to go. And then what we did is we actually took our chicken enchilada soup, and then we added our pulled rotisserie chicken. So this is actually so nice. Actually, I think I'm going to use a little bit of tongs here too. So just kind of get this into here. So pulled rotisserie chicken. Let's make sure we get all the chicken in there first. Then what we're going to do is just put a little layer of this over top of it when we're done here. And then easy here, which is a little lime, fresh cilantro here, scallions. So now with this easily turning this chicken enchilada soup into a chicken enchilada bowl, I mean, it's Really
Yeah.
that easy. I know it seems like we did that really fast, but it really is that easy. We literally just heated up the chicken enchilada soup, added that pulled rotisserie chicken directly to that. I mean, and again, it already has the chicken in it, but we're just making it a little bit more pliable so that it goes over top of a bowl nicely. And like I said, right over top of the cilantro lime rice, and that's it. It's good to go.
I love it. Easy. It doesn't get much easier. So this is the time where we talk about what can you add value and wow to your menu, coupling with commodities and using a little bit of help from our friends here at Sandridge. So we
Absolutely.
appreciate all that you're doing. I know Tina had a dessert today. Cheesecake Delight, we've used it 1,000,001
Yeah.
ways. So again, if you're interested in having any options for your holiday celebrations, these are some great opportunities for your menus. But don't forget about those fun ways to treat your kiddos during the holiday season. And one of the ways we did today is we took the local Dogo cookies. And so if you already get that the Cheesecake Delight in and you're saying, I'm going to try that nacho or that dippable naan kind of vibe, but now I want to be able to show it as a sandwich. So you remember when we did punchkis and we used this cream? Here is a local pumpkin sandwich made with Cheesecake Delight. So I mean, it's such a versatile product. You can add flavor to it. You could leave it as it is. Last year we showed it with some Oreo, all the fun flavors kids like, but certainly one of those items, if you get in, there's lots of ways to celebrate it.
Not only that, I know today we did this with the pumpkin, but remember, it's so easy to add different flavors into that Cheesecake Delight. You can do peanut butter and jelly. You can do different flavors, anything. Again, even that sweet and spicy as well too.
It just is amazing. I can't believe we're already at an hour, guys. And I know he left. Now I said I was going to show you a special guest. So I'm going to go have you grab him if he can come back out. As I finish these last couple of slides, sorry for going over a minute. My goal really is to just remind you that this is the first of 3. And the next 2 are coming up. So the next slide will tell you, save the date. January the 15th is our Health is Wealth. Start your new year off with not only healthy ways to change your cycle up coming into the spring menu season, but also your finances. And that day also will be our announcement of our mystery chef. And so that mystery chef is celebrated all year long, but we will announce the winner on March 19th. So we'll be celebrating spring into summer, and maybe we'll get a guest appearance. You know, I couldn't get Munch the Fox. I guess if I would have asked him, he might have come. But I will say, I'm very pleased to have a mascot with us here today. My favorite mascot, celebrating National School Lunch Week, the Mike Sandridge. Celebrating all of you and your wonderful work in school food service. You know, we are here to support you. He is here to support you. He always welcomes us to his house. Anything to share for celebrating National School Lunch Week with us? Give me a good
wasn't here
arr.
for the old arr, maybe. Wasn't here for the beginning, but I was here for the end. Awesome.
Yes. He's
Awesome.
always, he comes for the food. I think you smell it and you say,
I
okay,
do.
I'm hungry, so I'm
I
gonna
do.
come. But
Yeah.
anyway, we appreciate you always for welcoming us into your house and the support of your wonderful team and son over there, our
Yeah.
friend Keith. Yes, we'll keep him around. We'll
I
keep him.
think we will too.
All right, perfect. The slides will be presented to you in the post follow-up. Worried about wellness? You know, there's ways to support you. Don't worry about those ARs. We didn't take a lot of time today to talk about the hard work of school food service, but the fun work of school food service. But remember, we thank you for all the work you do. If you're worried about any aspect of your administrative review or any of these great menu ideas, please feel free to contact us. Now let's go back to work.
Maybe.